Testing, testing. All right. Hey, everybody, and welcome to my live stream. Welcome in for anybody who is new around. My name is Wicked. Nice to meet you. I do a reaction channel right now, as well as gaming, but today is all about the reaction. So, we're going to be doing our first ever live reaction for Game of Thrones. This is going to be a reaction to the season history and lore of season 3. Hopefully everybody enjoys this. Hopefully we get some people in too to be able to actually chat about it. I'm excited. This is going to be interesting. Let's go ahead and switch over and get started.
Valyria was not the first to conquer the world. In the dawn of days, the city of Geese opened its gates and poured forth its legions across the continent of Essos. With their lockstep discipline and absolute obedience, they ground entire nations beneath their boots and planted the harpy in every corner of the known world.
Okay.
What they didn't destroy, they chained. Slavery is as old as man, but until the Giscari, it was never an art. The slave lords grew rich and fat as pyramids were raised around them, pleasure houses were filled, and fighting pits were opened. Nobody remembers if the waters around Geese had names before the Empire, but ever since, we know them only as Slaver's Bay and the Gulf of Grief.
Okay, so this is
Of
Slaver's
Geese,
Bay.
however, nothing remains but ruins, where end all great civilizations. 5,000 years ago, Valyrian shepherds stumbled on strange eggs, and within a few generations, an upstart Valyrian freehold rose across the sea. 5 times did the Giscari contend with Valyria, and 5 times did they go down in defeat. For the freehold had dragons.
So like harpies even existed back in the day too,
The
huh?
best of their legions burned, the others broke. The brick walls of
We
Geese
have seen
were
some
torn
magical
down,
shit
streets and buildings
within
were
Game of
trashed,
Thrones, right? So I guess I
the
can
fields
understand
sown with
that.
Salt, sulfur, and skulls. Yet the empire was not wholly destroyed. Astapor, Yunkai, and Marine, once lowly colonies along Slaver's Bay, survived and even thrived. Valyria had watched the Giscari grow rich and powerful off the backs of conquered peoples, and now the self-styled freehold wanted its turn. While the Dragon Lords brought the world to heel, the slave markets of their former enemy never lacked for flesh. Lamenting the lost empire, the descendants of old Geese grew rich and fat. The doom fell on Valyria, and the Dothraki rose to pillage most of the continent at will. But gold-laden Astapor, Yunkai, and Marine continue as they have for thousands of years, untouched. For even the Horse Lords understand what the Giscari taught Valyria so long ago. What good are slaves without slavers?
Okay, so basically that was their way of getting out of pretty much being conquered. Was like, hey, we'll give you slaves. That's what it sounded like anyways.
Out of these swarmed the Dothraki, the horse lords of the plains who feared only defeat and dragons. And now the dragons were all gone. Under the great Karl Temu, they sacked and burnt every town and city in their path. No army could stand against them, because the Dothraki do not stand. The horse lords do not draw up battle lines or hide behind shield walls or lair themselves in armor. The Dothraki charge. Their blades are more scythe than sword, the better to cull the infantry ranks without breaking stride. Even their archers fire from horseback so that advancing or retreating, the arrows never cease. To the Dothraki, a man who does not ride is no man at all, without honor or pride. When the city of Qullhor realized Karl Temu was coming, they strengthened their walls, doubled their own guards, and hired 2 full companies of sellswords. The Dothraki were used to glorified farmers with spears. Qullhor would show them a proper army, with mounted and armored cavalry to match the Horde's own. As an afterthought, the city leaders sent an envoy to Astapor to buy Unsullied. The slavers had always claimed that the Unsullied were the great Giscari legions come again.
Hey, Kimberly, how's it going? Welcome in, welcome in.
Of old geese were a
Hopefully
stone
you're having a
ride at the
great
gate when the
day.
foot soldier was over. The envoy had his orders, however, and quickly
Get to
bought
formally
3,000
talking
unsullied for
in
the
kind of
long
somewhat
march
similar,
back.
live action, right?
Do not ride. But while they marched, Karl Temu arrived at Quohor. I can imagine how pleased the Karl was to finally face a challenge. By the end of the battle, crows and wolves feasted on what remained of Quohor's heavy horse.
Damn.
All the sellswords had fled. Quohor knew that the Dothraki would very soon break through the gates to rape, slave, and burn.
So I guess this
their
is where the
pleasure.
Dothraki pretty much got their
The next
their
day,
name
Karl
and
Temu
where
woke to
people
find
feared
before the
them.
gates 3,000 eunuchs in formation, armed with only spears, shields, and spiked helms. The Unsullied had slipped past the Karl's army in the night while the Dothraki
Yeah, but
feasted.
better now. Well, I'm glad that things are
Karl
getting
Temu
better
had many
for you.
times their number and could easily have
Today's
fought
been
the
kind of
small
like a
force.
day too, so I
But to
can
the
definitely
Dothraki,
understand
men on
that.
foot are fit only to be ridden down. 18 times the horse lords charged, and 18 times the Unsullied locked their shields, lowered their spears, and held the line against 20,000 Dothraki screamers. When the Karl's archers rained arrows on them, the Unsullied lifted their shields above their heads until the squall passed, and then they held the line. In the end, only
Damn.
600 Unsullied remained, but more than 12,000 Dothraki lay dead.
Okay, so this is where the Dothraki got their name as well. All right.
The new Karl led the survivors past
Did
the
I ever
city
tell you that
gates,
my next German
where one by
Shepherd is
one,
going to be called
each
Wicked?
man
No,
cut
he
off his
didn't.
blade
Really
and threw it
now.
down before
Is
the
it?
feet of the
Is it
Unsullied.
say? I know it's not, but you can say
Defeated
it's after
and
me.
shamed
It's cool.
forever.
We can do that.
Since that
Feel
day,
honored. Wicked's
the
a good name.
Unsullied filled the ranks of cities
A
and
German
households
Shepherd too. I
wealthy
like.
enough,
Those are some beautiful
desperate enough.
dogs, man. I love a German
Sellswords
Shepherd.
fight for gold, knights for glory, and Dothraki for blood. To a man, the Unsullied fight only to obey. With the right master over them, imagine how the forces of chaos would break against their shields. The conquerors, the madmen, the usurpers.
Mine. That's what the Red Keep is. The small folk say its color comes from the blood Aegon spilled to win
No,
his
this is
crown.
Joffrey. Oh,
Fools. Blood doesn't soak into stone. No matter
I was
how
like, who's that?
hard
Who's
you
that?
try. Aegon built his castle of red rock to remind people of the fires he'd roasted his enemies in. So whenever King's
this
Landing
my
looked
Mel
up,
is truth.
they'd see the price of
Together they'll be the
defiance.
wicked truth. Hey, I like that. I like that.
Only fear keeps men in line.
That's a great combo right there.
And punishment. A lesson he taught his son, Maegor. When the builders finally finished the Red Keep, Maegor executed them all to keep its secrets safe. Rumor has it, miles of hidden passageways run behind the walls and under the floors. One day I'll have to find them. Traitors and women work in shadows. A king has no need for secrecy. Now, people name Maegor the Cruel, but I doubt any dared in his day. His strength was all too rare in the degenerate Targaryen blood. The simpering Baelor the Blessed created the Maiden Vault to imprison his own sisters and save himself from carnal thoughts.
Damn.
Disgusting. Though I admit a prince.
This one you have
could
no
use
room to be saying disgusting about anything, my dude.
My favorite place in the Red Keep? There's so many. The Traitor's Walk, where I mount the heads of my enemies. It's a shame flesh rots so slowly. I've almost run out of spikes.
This dude just really went from saying something like that to now talking about heads
The
on
dungeons
spikes.
are also quite
I'm done.
nice once you get past the first two levels. A stable for common criminals and private cells for useful highborns. How boring, I know. But then you come to the black cells. No windows, no torches, just darkness, and whatever you hear in there with you. Here we keep the greatest traitors, until the king is ready for them, and with these, I often like to take my time.
So
But
that
I've
must have
heard
been where
rumors
Ned
of an
was
even
then.
lower, hidden level, Maegor's favorite. Once a man was taken here, he never saw the sun again, nor heard a human voice, nor breathed a breath free of agonizing pain.
So basically, that was just like a death sentence. You ended up down there. You were a goner. Enjoying the lore so far? Yes, I really am. We just started in this. We're only like 9, almost 10 minutes in. But so far, I like that. It's showing that they had some harpies back in the day. Didn't know that either. But like I was saying, with Game of Thrones history so far, with giants and all that, tree folk that they would have like harpies. That's pretty dope. So yeah, so far I
Fergus
am
must
enjoying
know the way, but that overgrown
the
girl
lore.
pretends not to. Maybe he fears I'll make him a victim.
I'll have to get everybody's
Yeah.
opinion on what's their
Then
favorite
again,
history and lore
torture
video,
chambers are
like
just
off of what
so
season.
private. Better to punish your enemies where everyone can see and remember. Like that Targaryen who forced his nephew to watch as he fed the boy's traitor mother to a dragon. Oh, what I could do with a dragon. Even Ares, fool as he was, knew to burn men alive with an audience, to spread the terror far and wide across his kingdoms.
Nice to get to
Of
hit. Yes, most
course,
definitely.
I know my favorite place now.
You get a lot of the stuff
where
that
I
they don't
sit on the
possibly
Iron
have
Throne,
time to tell you in
high
the
in
actual
Red
story,
Keep,
you know, in the
Westeros
series.
scuttles
And if you haven't
glowing
read the books, this is definitely, it helps catch you up on a lot of things.
for my heel.
Fills in a lot of the blanks, so to speak.
Mudmen, bog devils. Those are just the most pleasant names our fellow northerners have for us, the Crannogmen who live in the swamps of the Neck. Because we do
Yes.
not live in castles like them, because we do not farm like them, because we are not tall or rich like them. But through our veins flows the same blood of the first men.
Is that chick
Maybe something more.
that's following
We started as
Bran?
much as they did, on floating islands in houses of thatch and woven reeds. We
Or am I
fish,
wrong? It
hunt,
kinda sounds
and
like
tell
her a
our
little
children
bit.
Of our heroes. The knight of the laughing tree who fought in the year of the false spring. The last Marsh king who challenged the Starks and lost his crown and his daughter. And other stories, older still, since lost to the world. The Neck was not always a swamp. In the Dawn Age, it was as dry and fertile as the rest of the north. But
Okay.
during the war with the First Men, the children of the forest brought down the hammer of waters on the Neck, trying to break Westeros in two. When the waters finally receded, they left the bogs and swamps we know today. Many of the First Men decided
okay.
to fight on, but my ancestors wisely chose to heed the children's power and advance no farther.
Mira.
They beat their swords into frog spears.
Yeah, that's her name, right?
And settled a
I was
land
right then,
forever
that is her?
decimated by the folly of war.
The only bad thing about this one, I can see that the other ones had, at least at the beginning of the other ones, before going into each story, they said who was talking and what the history was going to be about. This one's just kind of like going for it.
An endless morass of suck holes, quicksands, and green grass that looks solid to the unwary eye, but turns to water the instant you tread on it.
I don't know though. I could be wrong, but that's who I'm thinking it is.
You'll only drown inside your own steel. If you're not, you get to meet what swims in that water. Serpents and monstrous lizard lions with
Nice,
teeth
I
like
was right.
daggers and never enough to eat. Don't worry, only your horse will live long enough to feel their poisons burning through it. If you somehow survive all this, you may find that
So
a
basically
well-placed
like acid?
dart can be as deadly as any blade. Not that you'll see us blowing it your way. Since the fall of the last Marsh king, House Reed has ruled the Neck beneath the banner of a black lizard lion on a grey-green field.
Oh,
We're not
okay.
wealthy, powerful, or known even to our own countrymen. Our home, Greywater Watch, is no castle
Grey
you've ever
Walter
seen.
Watch.
And seeing it once does not mean you'll ever find it again. For Greywater Watch moves. Many would-be conquerors have died trying to find us. With war all around and our stark lord besieged on all sides, many more will doubtless soon try. who are
House
orthodox
Reed?
on a map
Okay, so that's
and
their
see a
house.
stranglehold for the north. And they will forget that the sea itself once entered the neck, and not all of it returned.
That was a nasty looking crocodile.
Like the Starks, the blood of House Bolton runs back to the first men.
Oh,
Singers
this
call
is
those times
Lord
the Age of
Bolton.
Heroes. A
The
mask
guy
for a
that got
savage
Rob
world
and
that
him
bred
killed.
savage men. The Lannisters swindled their enemies. The Storm Kings hammered them, and the Starks cut off their heads. In such company as this, were the Boltons really so indelicate? Unlike some other houses, my ancestors owned the Bolton words, "Our blades are sharp." They passed down not a Valyrian greatsword, but a knife, honed and thin enough to fit between the topmost layer of skin and the tissue below, and peel. For as we all learned as children, a
The
naked man
Stark
has few
houses?
secrets,
Oh.
a flayed man none. In those dark days, they say that some of my more willful forebearers would even wear their enemies' skins as cloaks. But no such tokens remain, if they ever existed. Certainly not hanging in some secret room in the Dreadfort, as old wives and fools insist.
Well, that's
I
just
suspect my
disgusting.
house itself was responsible for spreading such rumors in the first place.
They were like skinwalkers, basically. They walk in other people's skin.
And this was an age of war. House against house. Brother against brother. The Iron Men were on the rise, and never far from our shores. We must have seemed ripe for the taking. Too busy fighting each other to deal with the raiders as they deserved. Thus the Starks took it upon themselves to unify the North. Under them. They drove the pirates out of White Knife and claimed the eastern coast, and married the Marsh King's daughter for the neck. The Stark wrestled for Bear Island and won. Or so they say. Silly stories. Blood and Steel won the North, and the Starks had the most of both. After years of war, my ancestors gave up their barbaric practices and bent the knee to their new kings. Thus House Bolton became what we are today, loyal bannermen and staunch ally to the Starks.
Okay, but obviously y'all
And the
didn't want to be
second
that.
richest house in the North.
Y'all wanted to be the first. And so basically what I'm getting at here is the Boltons were the big house back in the day until the Starks pretty much came in and showed them who the big house was. 'Cause, I mean, let's be real. If they had more blood and more swords and armor and metal iron to spare, they were a bigger house. Regardless if you want to try to think of your own house as up there. So, okay, so Boltons pretty much got handled, and then they decided to bend the knee and so say give up their ways, but they didn't really give them up. They just did
The
them slick.
Westlands are all bounded by three natural defenses: mountain, sea, and forest. Necessary barriers when the land is
Tywin.
as rich as ours. From our mines come the gold and silver that fuel the rest of Westeros. From Lannisport, our largest city, come the most skillful gold and silversmiths in the land. Yet geography alone is not
But in your land,
strength.
though, you stole it.
The Westerlands would have been sacked and pillaged for thousands of years if it hadn't been for the men who ruled it. My family, House Lannister. According to legend,
And
we
always
trace
was
our
jealous and
descent
bitter.
to Lan the Clever.
Well, that makes more sense on why he was so easily manipulated and turned his back on Rob and them. Like, that definitely makes a lot more sense.
A childish story, but not without merit. One, a mind can and should be a weapon in a man's arsenal. Two, Lan must have been clever enough not to rely solely on his wits. After all, where today is House Casterly. Three, by keeping the Casterly name on the castle, Lan reminded the world of the price of getting in his way.
That's just...
The Rains ignored all these lessons. Not content with being the second richest family, they sought to challenge the first, mine. My father had put up with their insults and disrespect. When I came of age, I led our army to teach them what they
He
should
was
have
waiting for the
known.
chance.
Some people
Yeah.
say I
And he
was
took it
smart,
too. He
that
was quick.
eradicating every member of their
Playing
family
both
was not
sides. I
necessary.
knew I didn't trust him though, especially after that altercation he had with Jamie. I definitely didn't trust him. And then whenever I seen what happened at that damn wedding, bruh, man.
At our authority, I have only to send a singer with a harp, and he falls back into line. Because I will not have our lords squabble amongst themselves, like the lords of the Riverlands, or hide in their castles like the lords of the Vale, each of our bannermen contributes a unique skill that furthers the whole of the Westerlands. House Clegane, because every lord needs a beast from time to time. Sir Gregor strikes terror into the hearts of our enemies and our friends. So too does his disappointing brother Sandor, the traitor. House Payne, who provides us loyal servants. Sir Ilyn Payne was once captain of my household guard, until the Mad King heard him boast that I ran the Seven Kingdoms, which I did. The Mad King tore out Sir Ilyn's tongue, making him especially well suited to later become the King's Justice. Apparently these days, a younger Payne also serves my degenerate son, Tyrion. House Lefford, who guards the Golden Tooth.
Oh, Pod!
The eastern
That's
pass
right,
through the
Pod's
mountains
Pain.
and the all-too
That's pretty
frequent
dope, though.
chaos of the Seven Kingdoms.
Looking for his chance. Rob never saw it coming. No, he didn't. But he should have known, though. Like, he should have known. Even I like, to be honest, I didn't think the shit was going to happen that extently, especially at that time during a wedding. But
Gold is
I had a feeling somebody like Frey just couldn't let that slide. You know, he seemed like one of those
From
types.
strong leadership comes unity. From unity comes power.
I think the way they went about it is what's really like just sickening to me.
Tarth has lulled many a novice sailor into complacency. Our lush island sits on calm blue water like an emerald set into a sapphire. You would never guess that such a vision is only the sheath hiding the blade of Shipbreaker Bay, with its treacherous tides, unpredictable gales, and sharp
Who is
rocks
this?
lurking just below the water's surface. The storms that blow through the bay,
That's
Kingswood and Rainwood,
Brienne, right? Brienne of Tarth.
Westeros, and they give the Stormlands their name. Even without our weather, we have more than earned our name in strife.
Yeah, it
The
definitely
first
is.
Storm King, Durin, started his reign by declaring war on the gods themselves. He
Yeah,
loved the
that
daughters of
Ilyn
sea
Payne
and the wind
dude.
gods,
Yeah.
but they
I
forbade
think
him
one of the previous
and
episodes I just
their
watched
gods
kind of,
unleashed their might,
I remember them
running
saying
down
something
his
about that.
world and killing all of Durin's
Pod was a
family
pain.
and
I'm like,
guilds,
wait,
while
what?
his wife shielded him.
But yeah, it makes sense now.
Durin vowed to rebuild.
I remember that dude a
When
little
he
bit.
did, the gods again destroyed his home. His counselors begged him to retreat inland, but he would not abandon his war. Finally, with the council of the Children of the Forest, or perhaps a young Bran the Builder, Durin raised a seventh castle that, try as they might, and still do, the wind and sea gods could not tear asunder. Durin took the name God's Grief and called his new home Storm's End.
Okay,
Having
Storm's
beaten the
in.
waters to the east, the Storm Kings turned their gaze to more practical enemies, the Reach, Riverlands, and Dawn. For thousands of years, the Storm Kings fought the Gardener Kings of the Reach and various families of Dawn for control of the Dornish marches just below the Red Mountains. The fighting didn't stop until Dawn married into the Seven Kingdoms, a mere 100 years ago. But still the houses of the Stormlands, such as the Dondarians, guard the Boneway, the mountain pass into the marches, against any Dornish incursion. The Storm Kings had greater luck to their north, at first. They took the trident from the River Kings and built an empire that stretched as far as the neck.
Damn, it sounds like these are just
Then
going
the
to war with
Ironborn
everybody.
swarmed out of their islands and pushed the Storm Kings out of the Riverlands. No doubt the Ironborn intended to expand their empire into the Stormlands. Before they had a chance, Aegon Targaryen landed with his dragons. While Aegon burned the kings of the Iron Islands, the Rock and the Reach, his fiercest commander and rumoured bastard brother, Orys Baratheon, set out to subdue the Stormlands. No matter how fierce a warrior he was, no one could have envied his task. Storm's End had seen thousands of years of war and never fallen. But Argilac, the Storm King, chose not to barricade himself behind its walls,
Okay.
and gave Orys the battle he must have hoped for. Orys slew Argilac, and took Argilac's castle, kingdom, daughter, sigil, and house words.
Ah, damn.
House Baratheon became the lord of the Stormlands. Targaryen ruled.
So
behind
okay, so that's how. Okay, so they got deeper into the story. That's how the Baratheons have the Targaryen, some of the Targaryen blood in them. Then that's okay. So that's pretty much the exact story of how it all. Because I did hear on one of the last thing, it was what, the first or second history and lore video. They had talked how Baratheon had some of their blood in them, Targaryen blood. Okay, so it was a bastard Targaryen or rumored bastard Targaryen that did
for the
that.
most part, until Robert rebelled against the Mad King. His first challenge came not from the crown, but from his own bannerman, who tried to join forces against him.
Really?
Robert struck first, defeating 3 armies in a single day at Summerhall. The victory cemented Robert's control of the Stormlands, and he was able to march on the Reach and Riverlands with no enemy to his rear. Yet not all of Robert's bannermen sided with him. Sir Barristan the Bold came from the Stormlands, but as the pre-eminent member of Aerys Kingsguard and greatest knight in the realm, Sir Barristan remained loyal. After Robert's decisive victory,
The Barristan just sounds like a G, man. I'd have loved to seen him in action.
Countryman Sir Barristan, who had suffered grievous wounds whilst fighting so hard to kill him. Later, when the Kingslayer betrayed Aerys, Robert pardoned Sir Barristan and even took him onto his own Kingsguard. When Robert lifted Mace Tyrell's ill-managed siege of Storm's End and returned to his ancestral home, he realized the dream of all the Stormlords before him, to rule the 7 kingdoms. Then Robert died, and his brother Stannis killed their other brother, the noble King Renly, with black magic. Now the Stormlands again
Remember
live
that
up to
all
their
too
name,
well.
with so many houses burnt on the Blackwater and others currying favour with the Lannisters to seize the survivors' lands. Renly could have saved us. If only I could have saved him.
That I don't know, though. I don't know if Renly would have been able to do all that.
As lightning gives way to thunder, so too must murder lead to vengeance.
Valyria was not the first to conquer the world.
We
In the
get
dawn
Jorah
of days,
again?
the city of Geese opened its gates and poured forth its legions across the continent of Essos. With their lockstep discipline and absolute obedience, they ground entire nations beneath their boots and planted the Harpy in every corner of the known world. What they didn't destroy, they chained. Slavery is as old as man, but until the Giscari, it was never an art. The slave lords grew rich and fat as pyramids were raised around them, pleasure houses were filled, and fighting pits were opened. Nobody remembers if the waters around Geese had names before the Empire, but ever since, we know them only as Slaver's Bay and the Gulf of Grief. Of Geese, however, nothing remains but ruins.
Yeah, really did have a larger army, but I don't think him as king would have been a good fit right now.
Strange eggs.
I don't know. I just
Generations,
he might have been. He could have
rose across the sea.
very well have been
5 times
better,
did the
you know, or
Giscari contend
better than what I
for
think
Valyria.
he'd do. But I don't think he would have
Did they go down
been
in defeat? For the Freehold had dragons.
what the realm
The
needs
Empire had
right
none.
now.
The best of their legions
I mean,
burned,
even
the
to
others
be honest, I
broke.
really don't know what they
The
need.
brick walls
I know
of
they don't
East
need the
Wall
Lannisters, that's for damn
streets
sure.
and buildings turned
And I
to
mean, as
ash.
far as Starks, you ain't really got no Starks
Salt,
left.
Salt, sulfur, and skulls.
And none of the other
The Empire
houses.
was not wholly destroyed.
It's not looking good. It's not looking good. I mean,
Once lowly
granted that
colonies
Tomlin,
along
the new
Slaver's
one,
Bay, survived, and
because I'm on
thrived.
right now I'm on
Valyria had
episode
watched the Giscari grow rich and powerful
6,
at the backs of
I think,
conquered peoples.
in season 4 right now. I got recorded, so I'm getting them edited and getting them put up.
Did its turn.
So the next, actually,
While the Dragon Lords brought the world
episode
to heel,
1 of season 4
the
should be coming out
armies of their
sometime this
former
week.
enemy never lacked for
Yay.
flesh.
But
Lamenting the lost empire,
I'm hoping maybe
the descendants of
Tomlin
old
can
Geats
actually do
grew
something
rich
good.
and fat.
Let's go ahead and pause this so I don't miss too much. But I hope Tomlin will actually be out. So far, he's definitely way leagues better than Joffrey. But we're gonna see how that goes. I think he might be a little too nice too, and I think that's what Renly's problem would have been is he would have been too nice. He either would have been too nice or he would have did things more for himself and not the realm. It's kind of what I was getting of that whole thing. And then if Margie would have married into him, then had the Tyrells. They were definitely doing it for power. So it's like a whole power struggle thing, in my opinion, with that. He definitely would have been better than Joffrey, though. Most definitely. I would have loved to seen Ned on the throne. I would have just loved to see Ned.
Doom fell on Valyria.
I definitely
The
would have.
Dothraki rose to pillage most of the continent at will, but gold-laden Astapor, Yunkai, and Meereen continue as they have for thousands of years, untouched. For even the Horse Lords understand what the Giscari taught Valyria so long ago. What good are slaves without slavers?
Growing up, my sister Sansa loved stories with princesses and knights, but I always wanted to be scared.
Bran?
When my turn came,
You said sister
we asked
Sansa, so I'm
old
guessing
Nan to
Bran.
tell us of magic and monsters. Long ago, when the world was new, the children of the forest sang the song of the earth, and the earth listened. Magic was strong in those days, and the children could commune with all the beasts of the forest, streams, and air. The greatest of them could even leave their bodies to hunt.
It's the Game of
swim,
Thrones. That it is. That it is. I couldn't have said it any better, Kimberly.
They were the first.
He's an innocent child. He is. He does seem like he is an innocent
First
child.
men came.
I think it's what Tomlin, Tom. I'm thinking it's Tomlin. I'll have to hear it again. I just started hearing his name not that long ago.
The children raised the sea.
But he does seem like he has a better head on his shoulders than Joffrey.
And that failed.
But he also
The
does seem
children
like he
brought down
is
the hammer of waters upon the neck,
more
flooding and transforming
corruptible,
into the
if that makes
bodies of
sense.
today. After
Bran?
peace came, the two races shared the land and the children's gods for thousands of years.
Yeah, Bran's innocent. Yeah, he's an innocent child. He definitely has a story arc on him right now, though.
Children began to
Like what's going on with Bran is astonishing. Like I can't wait to see where it goes or where it ends. I know right now they're on their way into the north.
And Maester Lewin never believed in it. But with it,
Common,
the children could know of events far
Okay.
away and even those still to come.
Brandon.
Some say the site was the children's most powerful and
I know I had a couple
terrible
people get mad because I kept mixing up Bronn and Bran's name in this. I wasn't doing no person like I knew who I was talking about, but their names are so similar. You got Bronn, and you got
Among
Bran.
small folk, any child suspected of being a warg will be left out to die. Beyond the wall, though, a careless hunter might still find his prey has claws and teeth, and a man's mind to guide them. For the wildlings have a different idea of monsters. But even wildlings
Yes,
keep
he
a
is,
distance from
and I
wargs.
think that could be his biggest flaw right now. Is that simple fact? Like, but if it ain't gonna be Margie, it's gonna be Tywin. One of those two are gonna be the deciding factors in that boy's reign. 100%.
Nan has no more tales, and Maester Lewin will never scoff again. That's fine. I don't like scary stories anymore. Because I'm in one.
Yeah, that you are, Brad. That you are.
As a boy, looking out from my father's castle,
Oh,
the
John.
sun could never
It's
set
John,
on the
all
north,
right.
so vast did it seem. Part of me still does. The north is by far the largest of the seven
The T
kingdoms.
fans are a
It can
salty
fit
bunch.
the other 6 inside it.
So far, I haven't really had any bad experiences. I mean, a couple comments here and there, but nothing too severe.
That's how the southerners see the north.
More
The cold.
criticisms than anything, which I accept full blown. You know, feedback is
A
key.
man can't appreciate
so
the
far,
roof over his head.
I haven't really seen too
Let the
much.
south have its sun.
I guess I haven't got to that point yet, so we'll see.
Northerners have home. Mine was once Winterfell, the ancient seat of my father's family, House Stark, who have ruled the north since the first men and were once the kings of winter. Growing up, Lady Catelyn made sure I knew I wasn't a Stark, no matter how much blood I shared with her true-born children. But where their name rules over the north, mine is the north. Snow. Our land
Now
stretches
that was well
down
put.
to the neck,
That was
and
that
our
was a
land
bar right
rises
there.
from the rest of Westeros. Legend has it that the children of the forest flooded it in their war against the first men. If that's true, every Northman owes them a debt of gratitude. The swamps of the Neck are as good as the wall for keeping out unwelcome armies. And if the swamps don't deter you, the Crannog men should. Small, shy people who rarely leave those swamps, and who follow House Reed, the gatekeepers of the North, and among the most important and loyal bannermen of House Stark. Also a bit strange. I heard their oath of fealty once as a child. It's like no other lords, ancient and dark. They swear by earth and water, by bronze and iron, and by ice and fire.
Damn, that
Where House
cold-blooded.
Reed holds the gate to the north, House Manderley holds the port, White Harbour, the closest thing to a southern city we have, governed by the closest thing to a southern family we have.
You're lucky they can be
Generations
vicious,
ago,
try to
Manderleys
ruin
were
it
from
for
the
everyone.
Reach, but the Starks gave
Yeah,
them
well,
land
I mean, you know,
reserved for
that's just
Now
about
White Harbour is the
that's
richest city of the north,
people in
and
general. You
Manderley
know,
is the
but
richest
pretty
family.
sure just about anything you watch, some people will try to ruin it.
Like their
I am
son
lucky that I
goes
haven't
around
had
and
too many people
fish,
trying to spoil
grain,
anything. I've had a
trade.
lot of help as far as
As for the other
what to try to
great northern
avoid.
houses, the Starks brought them into the fold during
So
the
that's a
Age
good
of
thing. But I also
Heroes.
do think it's because I haven't really gotten much. I haven't been exposed too much. Where a lot of too many people have been coming. You know, I think the more that show up, I'll probably end up seeing that side. But I already know, you know, that's you got to get that. I take it all on the chin. You know, as far as any kind of feedback that's worthy of being feedback, I'm all for it. You know, good, bad, it is what it is. There are some people that are toxic, but for the most part, I'm enjoying it. So that's pretty much all that matters when it comes down to it. Just the little interactions with you and with everybody else from comments and the little premieres that I do enjoy it.
The kings of the Rock and the Reach sent all their men to die to defend their crowns. Torrhen Stark knelt to spare his people the same
Well, we got a
fate.
moderator or something. Yes, I will.
Duty above pride. Just as my brothers in the Night's Watch had done for thousands of
As
years.
far as like the editing, I'm trying to get some done. Like I got up
Anything
to
at the end of the world.
episode 6 on season 4 done right now.
I've
Good
seen
news is I will
it
be. Let me
stretch.
go ahead and pause this. Good news is I'm gonna be getting hopefully another job here soon. Had an interview the other day, so hopefully better paying job, a little bit more money, to where I can continue on with the video editing. I'm hoping I ain't gonna have to like put it on hold because that would suck if I'm trying not to go back to editing myself because if I do, I'm afraid it's gonna start taking like a week or two to get one video out, and it's just it was taking too long. This way, I can as soon as I can get the videos recorded and uploaded, it takes him about a day or two. He gets it together, and then it's so much better. So I'm hoping to keep it going. But I will look into like getting a moderator, possibly a manager of the YouTube channel, things like that, because I am also doing streaming on Twitch, gaming stuff, things like that. So I got a bunch of that I'm trying to also do. Right now Twitch is where I make some of like it's very obscure. Like it's not even worth even talking about, but I do make a little income from Twitch being affiliated with them. So that money does kind of help towards this and other things, you know, for like my setup. I need to get better camera, better mic, things like that. All the stuff that comes, you know, come later on down the line. But I'm enjoying everything. Sometimes, you know, with life, it does get a little hectic with this job. So I'm hopefully also getting this other job, things won't be as crazy. I'll have more of a set schedule, time to be able to do stuff. I'm hoping, and just getting a better mind frame, mindset for everything. Because you know, if you're not if you're not in it as far as like being able to give the energy that you need, it's hard to do social stuff and online content. You gotta be with it, you know.
Into the land of always winter where the White Walkers came from during the long night. After the first men and the children of the forest beat them back, Brandon the Builder raised the wall and set up the Night's Watch to guard the realms of men.
Got to get you
He gave
monetized.
us our oaths,
Hopefully soon.
our castles, and a gift.
I can get to
Lands
500. I can
valuable
get that
whose
partial
farms and crops
monetization
sustain us. Southerners
where I'll
reign
kind
over
of get my
the
foot in the
mighty
door,
brothers,
and then after that, I just need to,
thieves,
because I
rapists,
basically already have my
robbers.
watch time hours. I believe it's mainly just my subs right now. So as long as I can get my subs, which that'll come in time, I just got to start putting out content that people enjoy. You know, I get it. My stuff isn't top tier yet, but it's I think, and which not think I know for sure, especially going back and seeing some of my original Game of Thrones episodes, things have improved a lot.
Since the Dawn Age.
It's just there's some things that I just can't do yet, which is hindering me.
That the Riverlands are between everything and everything else. The Westerlands gold, the Reaches grain, the
It is,
Vales
and it has to
rock.
remain fun for you. Oh, it's most definitely fun. I enjoy doing these reactions as far as like, especially watching new stuff that I've never seen before. Get to have other people to kind of like
But after
nerd over
1,000
stuff with, you know,
years,
talk about it,
exhausted,
interactions.
the
I love that.
Storm Kings Who fell to the Ironborn. I suppose after years of drowning at sea, our rivers look pretty attractive to that race of pirates and rapers. Never mind that their monstrous castle, Harrenhal, was too large to staff and garrison. It turned out the Ironborn wouldn't be there long enough to bother. Aegon Targaryen landed to our south, and, as had many before him, liked the look of the Riverlands. My ancestor Edmund Tully led the desertion of Riverlords to his cause, and was rewarded by getting to watch King Harren burn in his own tower. Unfortunately, that's not all Edmund got. House Tully was named the Lords Paramount of the Trident, which means
Okay.
we had to keep in line all those lords who hadn't governed themselves for thousands of years. We were now responsible for aiding the Malasters at Seaguard against the pouting Ironborn whenever they got cheeky. For settling Harrenhal on families stupid enough to think its curse would skip them after devouring all previous families. For keeping the Blackwoods and Brackens from wiping each other out and giving us 2 more castles to deal with. For keeping the Freys in their place and out of others' pockets.
Praise.
For marrying off our sons and
Ugh.
daughters wisely enough so we didn't follow House Mud into, well, the mud. Yet under the Targaryens, the Riverlands knew a peace we hadn't had for centuries.
What
if
is
ever.
this?
But like all good things, sooner or later it all goes to shit. And our shit.
Is that
Aerys Targaryen.
oh, whatchamacallit,
Westeros has had its
the older
share of
cat?
kings, but
the
usually
dude,
they have the
what's his
citizens
name? He was the one that was hanging with
most of the time. Aerys
Catelyn and
led
them
a
before
dual
the whole,
alliance.
well, at the wedding too.
North,
He was there.
Stormlands and Vale rose against him.
Her uncle, I think it is, or something like that. Is it her uncle?
Blood was
Blackbird or Black,
Brother
whatever
Hoster
his
guaranteed the
like
answer to that,
name
and the
was.
marriage of my niece to Eddard Stark, the Warden of the North. At least
Yeah,
Hoster
his
never
niece.
sent her to
Okay,
bother.
confirmation. Never mind. It told me.
Joined the war
That's what I
against
thought
the
it
Mad
was.
King.
Okay.
And it was on one of our rivers that Prince Rhaegar died, sealing the fate of his dynasty.
Oh, in their river.
Robert was
Okay.
a great soldier and a horrible king.
He was a horrible.
Bring their own
I mean, he wasn't
blood
horrible,
to
but I'm sure he was not the greatest.
He died, and another war started.
Look, compared to what you got after him, you could safely say he was by far horrible. Blackfish. That was his name. Yes, the Blackfish.
Place for a safer realm, like the Dothraki Sea. I joke, of course.
I liked him.
The
He was
Riverlands
good.
are our home, and God's help us, we love it. Still, as they say, the king eats and the hand takes the shit. The same is true of the Riverlands. The 7 kingdoms piss, and the Riverlands change clothes.
That sucks.
Other houses chose dragons, krakens and lions for their sigils. We Tullys took the trout, that most terrifying of fish, especially when it leaps out of the water. I suppose you don't have many options when you live in the Riverlands. Could have been worse. It could have been minnows or wheat. After all, we make a lot of it. Though our land doesn't get as fertile as ours just by water. The old river kings, storm kings, and the kings of the rock spilled blood here for thousands of years, squabbling like children over a new toy, until the Ironborn came and spanked them with their axes. Under Harren the Black, their kingdom stretched all the way to the God's Eye, where they built the largest castle Westeros had ever seen. Maesters teach that Harren was a fool, but he had some sense. If you're going to enslave and torture an entire people, you best have thick walls to hide behind.
That's true.
The very day the last stone was laid in Harrenhal, Aegon Targaryen landed in Westeros. As soon as he saw Aegon's host on the horizon, my ancestor Edmund led the mass desertion of Riverlords to Aegon's side. I doubt Harren even noticed. The problem with huge castles is they blind you to what's outside, both by their size and the arrogance they inspire. Not that the Ironborn ever lacked for that.
Well, that is true, because, like, nobody could really mess with Harrenhal, right? Until Aegon did come with his dragons.
Fire turned stone walls into an oven. And so Harren the Black finally lived up to his name, and the Riverlord swept the Ironborn back to the sea. In return for Edmund's service, House Tully was made Aegon's new Lord Paramount of the Trident, and all the other lords had to swear us fealty. But old habits die hard. The Riverlands are and always have been the middle child of Westeros, caught up in every fight from one lord at another. My ancestors knew that for the Tullys to survive, alliances must be made. Our trout has swum up so many rivers over the centuries and leapt onto so many plates that it's a wonder half the realm's sigils don't have fins by now. Thus, every Tully child is taught family, duty, honor. The Tully words
honor.
and pains in the Tully arse. When I returned from the War of the Ninepenny Kings, people called me Sir Brendan. But my older brother Hoster called me Engaged. A great match with a very rich house, to be sure. But I just fought and killed a great deal of men and had no desire to be told when and whom to marry.
When, yeah, exactly, right?
With him.
I'm a bit behind on the stream, but King Robert also had more recent Targaryen blood because his grandma was a Targaryen. Oh, okay, nice. Did not know that. Civil War guy, welcome in, welcome in. Thank you so much for joining. Hopefully you are having a great day.
House Tully fights with marriages. Then my niece Catelyn's betrothal to Brandon Stark drew us into the war against the Mad King, while my other niece Lysa's betrothal to Jon Arryn cemented the rebellion. If I'd have obeyed my older brother earlier, we'd have had the largest navy in Westeros with us then as well, and our victory would have been swift. Of course, I never mentioned this fact to my brother. He'd have taken it as an apology. My brother is dead now, and my nephew Edmure rules in Riverrun. God's help us. A tribe that can't tell the worm from the hook. But he is a Tully, and he is unmarried, and there is a war. We all know how this story ends. Maybe she'll be beautiful. Maybe she'll be rich. As long as she brings swords and men to House Tully, she could look like the fish we hang all over Riverrun. He'll honor his duty to family and swallow it.
And swallow it.
One blackfish per family can be overlooked. Two, and we'd have to change all those pretty banners.
The Reach is aptly named. We're the ones who give your hands something to do at the table. As the most fertile region of the Seven Kingdoms, we grow the lion's share of the grains and fruit that feed this country. Especially now, since the rebels have burned down the other fields.
Thankfully, House Tyrell is here to do its duty to the crown and keep the capital from starvation. Yet, as with all gardens, weeds grow in the Reach too, though few name them as such. Singers fill our heads with chivalry and courtly love, fluff to make boys fight and girls swoon. Oh, the songs are good enough for a pleasure barge down the Manda. They give pleasure to the common people and harmony to the realm. But if the rise of House Tyrell proves anything, it's that virtue and honor have their place. And if you're not careful, that place is the grave. Unlike the Lannisters, Starks, and Arryns, we were never kings in our own right. House Gardner ruled the Reach since
Yeah, but I mean, y'all definitely had to have money if you had all that stuff to sell.
While they warred to enrich their already rich domain, we managed their castle of
Marjorie?
Highgarden. But then
Yeah,
Aegon
that is
Targaryen
Marjorie, ain't it?
landed with his dragons. Nobody knows why the Gardener King took the field against him. Anyone could see that a man who grows flowers should beware a man who grows fire-breathing monsters. But maybe it wasn't wholly his idea. Maybe someone
Oh,
whispered
Marge.
in his ear
Call her
about
Marge.
the face he'd lose with the other 6 kings if he stayed
The
home.
mastermind manipulator.
The last Gardener King
All
lost
M's.
his
Go
faith,
figure,
along
right?
with his body,
Go
and his
figure.
steward Harlan Tyrell promptly yielded Highgarden to Aegon. My grandmother swears that Harlan was like most of our men and grew up banging steel together too loudly for a thought to penetrate. But luckily, his wife had better sense. Whatever the case, in return for Harlan's show of sense, Aegon proclaimed House Tyrell the Lords of the Reach and Wardens of the South, passing over all the other houses with better claims. House Hightower, who were kings before the Andals came, their seat is the oldest city in Westeros. They call it Old Town. Wealthy,
Old
proud, and
Town.
solitary. There have been Hightowers who wouldn't come down from their great lighthouse for decades. Its name, fittingly, is the Hightower. House Florent, who had actual blood ties to the Gardeners. They whinge about their ancient rights to Highgarden every once in a while, and now that their daughter is married to Stannis Baratheon, about their rights to all of Westeros too. Apparently, putting a fox on your banners doesn't impart a fox's wiles. House Tarly, who still gives the Reach the best soldiers it has. If Aegon had named them as his lords, the Reach would have become the greatest military camp in the world, until it starved to death. The price for conscripting all the farmers. Yet Aegon chose us. Centuries later, when his descendant Aerys faced rebellion, the Reach stayed loyal. Mostly. My father, Mace, dealt Robert his only defeat in the war, even if it was my father's vanguard who did most of the fighting before he arrived. After the Battle of Ashford, we laid siege to Storm's End, Robert's home. Unfortunately, the war ended before we could take it and free up our armies to go save the king. The new King Robert had a forgiving nature. Our crimes were brushed aside without even one execution for the sake of formality. Our family was surprised until Robert's new hand, John Arryn, came by with the bill. The Reach is second only to the Westerlands in wealth, and Robert meant to spend as much of it as he could get his hands on. We gave him the coins he wanted, and later, when he wanted our grain or fruit or wine, he gave them back at whatever price we set. Now, much of Westeros is ashes. The rest of it is armies. As the Starks are fond of saying, winter is coming, and for leagues outside the capital there isn't a harvest to be seen. Have no fear. The Reach is, as always, bountiful. House Tyrell will manage the harvest and keep the Seven Kingdoms from starvation.
So that's why the Tyrells are so important, because of their massive harvest that they can get.
Impregnable. That's how the Vale sees itself. Shielded from Westeros by its mountains. They call the entrance to their land the Bloody Gate because, during the Age of Heroes, a dozen armies supposedly smashed themselves against it.
Littlefinger.
Even if
That's
they broke
Littlefinger.
through, the roads of the Vale are narrow, steep, and treacherous. Half the men would have slipped to their deaths or frozen in the mountain snow. or so the common wisdom goes. Except the Vale has been conquered. Those vaunted mountains didn't stop the Andals who came by the eastern sea. The people of the Vale say that Sir Artus Arryn, the Andal general, flew on the back of a giant falcon and slew the Griffin King on top of the tallest mountain. During Aegon's conquest, one of his sisters did the same, flying her dragon over the Bloody Gate and up to the Eyrie, the Arryn stronghold. And the Arryn boy king yielded the Vale in return for a ride on the beast. Do you sense the theme here? The rationalizing of defeats
Hoping your journey through this crazy show. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Linda. Appreciate you stopping in. Welcome, welcome. Hopefully you are having a fabulous day today.
The men of the Vale are so proud of their mountains, they can't abide any flaw in them. As with the mountains,
I appreciate every single one of you that's in here today, coming in, joining me. Hopefully y'all are enjoying the content. Hopefully you're also enjoying this journey with me.
Like to brag. Through their veins runs the blood of the oldest Andal nobility in Westeros. But through their brains runs an even older...
I am really enjoying this one, though.
That blood matters. If it did, those pure-born lords should have been able to exterminate the hill tribes centuries ago. But those primitive raiders, whose tribes more resemble kennels than families, continue to plague the Vale, even kidnapping an Arryn once. Until Tyrion Lannister, an outsider, no Vale lord ever thought to turn the tribes to the Vale's advantage. That a desperate, warlike people could be useful, not to mention inexpensive. But perhaps the Vale lords consider such thoughts beneath them. After all, the Vale's isolation does breed an abundance of honor and pious bleating, which governs their decisions instead of foresight. Like a blind man who can only guess where his horse is taking him. I doubt Jon Arryn had even prepared for civil war when he raised his banners instead of handing over his young wards, Ned Stark and Robert Baratheon, to the Mad King. Honor demanded, and Lord Arryn obeyed. He'd have done the same if the boys hadn't been the lords of two great houses, who could field mighty armies of their own.
Well, Arryns were above them at that point.
After all, if the war went against them, only Lord Arryn had a nice, impregnable castle to retreat into, and he was wise enough to take poor Lysa Tully into his bed to win the Riverlands as allies. Jon Arryn won.
Okay, so that was the Arryn's place, that big castle that Tyrion was in. And the most recent episode I watched, they went back to.
From lack of men to tend them. Its strength was not drained by forced marches to futile skirmishes. In the Vale, life proceeds as it always has. Calm, proud. A world of high honor undisturbed by armies and men of low birth, but high ambition. Impregnable.
You hear that word a lot for that place.
I was the youngest of 8 in Mere, across the narrow sea. So my father gave me over to the Red Temple. In their wisdom, they decided to make me a priest instead of a warrior or a temple prostitute like other children. It was not the path I would have chosen. Sure, I prayed the prayers and I spoke the spells, but I also led raids on the kitchens, and from time to time they found girls in my bed. Such wicked girls. I never knew how they got there. Then again, I did have a gift for tongues. And when I gazed into the flames, well, from time to time I saw things. Even so, I was more bother than I was worth. When the High Priest foresaw Robert's ascension, he sent me to turn the Storm Lord to the Lord of Light. When Robert sees
That's that drunk guy.
We take all of Westeros from the Seven in a single stroke. Perhaps they thought Robert would listen to a kindred spirit, or perhaps celibacy had addled the High Priest's brain.
That's okay. That's the good guy of the Lord of Light, as I say.
Free. I did my duty as I saw it. Drinking and whoring and waving my sword around. The only gods Robert cared about anyway. Years passed, Robert became king, I became a joke. We both became fat. I even won some glory in Greyjoy's rebellion, first through the breach and all that. It's amazing what boldness a full bladder can inspire. But Robert has stopped listening
Boros,
to my
that's his name? I don't know, I think so. It's the guy that's in the Brotherhood, right? The one that brought that one dude back after the Hound put a sword through him.
Of those brats squabbling over the world world's pointiest.
I think he's like the yin to the Red Woman's yang type thing. He's the good, she's the bad. That's kind of how I see them now, or at this point.
The Lord of Light is real.
Yoros.
And if he's real, then all of it is real. Man once again faces the war for the dawn, which has been waged since time began. On one side is the Lord of Light, the heart of fire, the god of flame and shadow. Against him stands the great other, whose name may not be spoken. The Lord of Darkness, the soul of ice, the god of night and terror. According to prophecy, our champion will be reborn, to wake dragons from stone and reforge the great sword Lightbringer that defeated the darkness those thousands of years ago. If the old tales are true, a terrible weapon forged with the lifeblood of a loving wife's heart. Part of me thinks man was well rid of it, but great power requires great sacrifice. That much, at least, the Lord of Light is clear on. I sound like a dried-out old woman, I know. But as our former hand liked to say, winter is coming. When the cold winds rise, all men, no matter their faith or lack of it, huddle beside my night fires. And I pray the prayers, and speak the spells, and beseech the Lord of Light to bring back the dawn. So far, so good. But reprobate as I am, I can't help but wonder what will happen if, one day, our Lord does not answer. Imagine a night that goes on forever, so dark and full of terrors. I think I need another drink.
I think I need another drink. Oh, that's good stuff.
For 300 years, the Targaryen dynasty ruled Westeros. Wars were still fought, homes still burned, and men still died. But compared to the chaos of what came before, the realm was stable. And
Varys.
The Targaryens lied, thieved, and killed as much as other
Littlefinger.
lords. They just had dragons to answer all complaints. Until they didn't. When the last dragon died, it was only a matter of time before the Targaryens followed. By only, you mean another century? Which they wasted trying to replace their lost advantage. Incinerating their own palaces to hatch dragon eggs, drinking wildfire to become dragons, and let's not forget the Mad King's favorite, burning men alive so he could pretend to be a dragon. We urged Aerys to pardon Brandon Stark. The boy had threatened Prince Rhaegar, but Rhaegar had stolen the boy's sister. And the boy was the eldest son of our Warden of the North. Who's the greater fool, a Mad King or the man who reasons with him? Aerys saw knives in every shadow. When you told him to treat the Starks with caution, you made him afraid. And what he feared, he killed. I wouldn't have thought you, of all people, would bother with recrimination.
Gotta go. Happy Easter. Happy Easter, Linda. Thank you so much for stopping in. Hopefully you have a great day, a great Good Friday, and a great Easter coming up.
As arrogant as he was stupid.
Thank you so much for
Like
your
his
support.
father, Lord Stark, who answered Aerys' summon to the capital. They earned their fates. But the younger son, Ned, what was his crime that Aerys ordered his death as well? Unlike men, families don't die when you lop off their head. At the very least, you should have pointed out that loyal and dutiful Ned was living with Jon Arryn, a proud and over-righteous lord with an impregnable castle and no sons of his own. Perhaps you could have spared Aerys the embarrassment of revolt. If only we'd had the foresight to consult
You're welcome.
you, Lord Baelish, but I suppose first we'd have had to know who you were. Nobody knew Robert Baratheon either, yet he claimed the right to sit on the Iron Throne. He had Targaryen blood, through his mother. A pretty dress for an ugly truth. It was war, and he could swing a hammer harder than the other options. When did you know you'd lost, Lord Varys? When Robert Baratheon killed Prince Rhaegar on the Trident. Wrong. You lost the war when you let Ned Stark slip back into the north. Neither the bloody Gate of the Vale or Moat Cailin in the north have ever fallen. They could have held out for years, even if you'd killed Robert, but you let him slip through your fingers as well.
I told the court that Robert was hiding in the Stony Sept, but the hand of the king wasted too much time searching the city. Something about the glory of single combat. Then Ned Stark's army arrived to save the day.
Too bad Lord Tywin wasn't hand any longer. He would have simply razed the town and been done with it.
Perhaps. And perhaps the rebels would have found even more of the countryside flocking to their banners.
I'd almost forgotten. You weren't always so loyal to the Lannisters during the war, were you?
I did my duty to the realm. When Lord Tywin showed up at King's Landing professing loyalty, I warned Aerys not to open the gates.
Oh,
Prince
really?
Rhaegon's dead, our army scattered. The lion does not stir unless he smells meat.
I admire your powers of persuasion, Lord Varys. Few could traffic in so many secrets to so little avail.
Grand Maester Pycelle told Aerys what he wanted to hear, that his old friend Tywin was there to save him.
Then Aerys'
Pycelle.
old friend sacked the city, and his son stabbed Aerys in the back.
A regrettable, though necessary action.
As were the pardons the new King Robert bestowed on the royalists, Mace Tyrell, Barristan Selmy, you.
King Robert wisely chose order over vengeance.
Jon Arryn wisely chose for Robert, but Jon Arryn died. Then Robert, then Ned. So ended their glorious revolution.
And Westeros has been burning ever since.
That is true.
How Targaryen of you. One of the mad ones.
Fire turns even the proudest oaks to ash, leaving newer roots space to climb.
Damn.
Some houses rise to power through strength, others through wealth. House Frey gained its title through cunning. Centuries ago, its founder looked at a map and noticed how the trident spears the neck, cutting off the north from the south. He realized that a river of gold would flow to the man who owned the right bridge across the water. It took the Freys 3 generations to complete their forefathers' vision. A massive arch of smooth grey rock, wide enough for 2 wagons to pass abreast. When they were done, they built high curtain walls, deep moats, and heavy gates to protect the approaches, and put up squat, ugly, formidable keeps on either bank. The Twins, commanding both road and river with arrow slits, murder holes, and portcullises. The Twins ensure that no one crosses without begging the Freys' leave and paying the Freys' toll. The plan worked. The family grew rich and powerful, exacting gold from lords, merchants, and poor farmers. A good thing, too, given the number of Freys the bridge has to support. The current lord, Walder Frey, has seen over 90 name days and sired near as many children, true-born.
Good God.
A shameful thing in any other lord, but Walder Frey possesses no shame. A dangerous thing for any other lord, but Walder Frey has no concern for heirs or fear of their impatience. Perhaps Lord Frey thinks to outlast them all. Given the infighting he encourages among them, perhaps he will. Whatever the case, House Frey does nothing so well as survive. When the Ironborn conquered and razed the Riverlands, the Freys hid in their castle. When Aegon and House Tully swept the Ironborn back to their islands, the Freys hid in their castle. When my ancestor demanded their allegiance as Aegon's new Lord Paramount of the Trident, the Freys bent the knee from their castle. Perhaps then we should not have been surprised when my father, Lord Hoster Tully, called his banners against the Mad King, and Lord Walder didn't answer. The Baratheons, Starks, Aarons, and Tullys, some of the oldest and greatest houses of Westeros, fought and bled for the cause of justice, while House Frey hid in its castle and waited. No doubt if Rhaegar had won at the Trident, Lord Walder would have given him safe passage into the north, to destroy the rest of my husband's northern army for a fair price. But Rhaegar fell, and lo and behold, the Frey army appeared to render aid to our already victorious forces.
Oh, I bet.
Many
Yeah.
figured that Lord Walder had been waiting for his army to come of age, having fielded it out.
That's so sad, bro.
My own father named him the late Lord Frey, to the other lords' amusement. A slight that pricks Lord Walder to this day. In many ways, however, Lord Walder was wise. We had no guarantee of victory, and had he fought with us from the outset and we failed, he would have lost the bridge his family was so proud of. More pride than honor. Those should be the words of House Frey. Yet part of me wonders if Lord Walder waited not out of fear but hope. That we would be destroyed, leaving him to assume my family's place as Lord Paramount of the Trident. To buy the respect they've always wanted, but refused.
Seems like something he would do.
No. Not even Lord Walder could be so disloyal.
Shit. Damn, it's over. Shit. My ass. Lord Frey would definitely be that damn disloyal. Look what he did to damn Starks in his own house. Damn. All right. Well, that's that. Wow, that was actually pretty good. I liked it. Would I say I liked it better than the other two? Yeah. The second one was pretty good, though. I'm not gonna lie. The second one was pretty good. I can put this one up there with the others. I did enjoy this one. The whole little guessing game of who's talking was pretty fun. I enjoyed that. Hopefully everybody enjoyed this live reaction. If y'all did, I will do another one for the next season history and lore video, season 4. We can go ahead and do that. Hopefully I'll be able to come up with some other form of lives later on down the line, even if it's just me chit-chatting with everybody or something. You know, we might do something like that later on down the line. But yeah, hopefully everybody did enjoy. I appreciate every single one of you that came in. Kimberly, Linda, City, all y'all. Appreciate y'all. So the Civil War guy, y'all are so amazing. Thank y'all for the support, for the love, everything. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. I will probably drop the next episode tomorrow. Most likely, probably either be tomorrow or within the next 2 or 3 days. Keep an eye out either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I'm pretty sure season 1 of episode 4 will drop. And then probably by the end of that week or beginning of the following week, the next episode will drop. I'm gonna try to get them kind of close together. How am I liking season 4 so far? I am enjoying it. I was actually quite okay. So since y'all have already seen it, all right. So there's no point in bolstering or trying to push it past. I was feeling kind of bad. As you can tell, I'm still kind of got a sinus thing going on. So and around recording episodes 1 and 2, or 2 and 3. I was feeling like under the weather super bad, but I needed to get the episodes done. So I recorded them. And the fact that episode 2 was probably hands down one of my favorite episodes so far in this series. I got so much joy from that episode. But the fact that I was feeling bad, I was like, man, that's not good, because I couldn't give like the reaction that I wanted to. But that episode was amazing. I loved that episode. Hands down, favorite episode so far of Game of Thrones. Hands down. If you know, you know why. But so far, I am really enjoying season 4. I can definitely see, and I've had a few people tell me that season 4 is one of their favorite seasons, as well as the consensus of the Game of Thrones fan base. Season 4 is one of their favorite seasons. I can see why. Just from watching the few episodes that I have watched so far in season 4, I can see why. So I am very excited to see what's going to happen at the end. I think I'm like 3 or 4 episodes left in the season 4 before it's over. It's going to be super intense. I cannot wait to see what happens what storylines are going to come around. I love, okay, so one of my favorite things about season 4 is I'm loving how a lot of things that happened in season 1 and season 2 came back around and kind of closed itself off. If that makes any sense. That's one of the best things I found about season 4 so far that I love. It's good to see y'all too. But that was probably by far one of my favorite. It definitely, a lot of the episodes have been great. And I can't, for the life of me, can't really remember what the last thing I actually watched because it's been about a couple of days. No, I didn't. Like, and after, like, immediately after the celebration I had, which y'all should see that in the coming episodes. Immediately after, I kind of felt a little bad, and I was like, I probably shouldn't do that. Makes me look bad on this reaction. But I didn't. But then I was like, fuck it. I'm sure everybody else had a similar reaction. It was nice. Like it was. I didn't know I'd have, like, I knew I was gonna have joy when it happened. I was just the way they were spacing it out. I literally thought I was gonna have to deal with that fucker for like another couple seasons for sure, if not the entire majority of Game of Thrones. Like that's the way they were setting it up. So to have that just like spur of the moment happen out of nowhere, that was awesome. Like that was awesome. I loved it. It was cool. I still think I sound bad just saying it, but it was great. I enjoyed it. The dynamics of a lot of the characters I'm really enjoying right now. Finally got to really see some of the other characters. I'm just gonna say right now, poor Theon, bro. Poor fucking Theon. Like, I totally get that he deserved some kind of retribution and some kind of penalty for what he did. And by all means, but for a character that we know from the beginning and kind of like the life that he's so far, living, he made a lot of mistakes. But damn it, no, poor Theon, bro. Poor Theon. That man is going through it right now. I sure hope he gets some kind of retribution off of this, but I don't know. After the last couple episodes I watched, I don't know. It's not looking good. Not looking good for him. Oh yeah. Matter of fact, I think the last episode I watched, it was mainly about the veil and all that. So that's kind of why I was like interested about the whole Aaron thing of the veil. The aunt's still crazy as shit. I don't understand that woman at all. The kid, yes, it's that. Besides, I don't want to say the whole family because Catelyn's is Catelyn's family, and but as far as them two, they nuts. They crazy. They a little crazy. So that's interesting in itself. I cannot, and I don't know if I'm right or not because all right. So here's the thing. They don't really tell you who did it as far as the whole Joffrey thing. Okay. But the I think it was like the episode or the second episode after episode 2, they pretty much kind of spelled it out for you a little bit, or at least from the way I was looking at it and interpreted it. They kind of dropped the hints on who did it. Now, granted, I don't think it was Tyrion. I never did. They're blaming him. I don't think it's him. I don't even think it's Sansa. But they made a big hint towards it being Granny. Now, Granny, I could see probably doing something like that. She got that type of attitude. But just that little conversation that she had with Margie right after all that happened, and you can tell when Marge kind of like seen it, and you could tell her facial expressions just fucking changed whenever she was telling how you knew I wasn't gonna let him do anything to you or this and that. I don't remember how the exact conversation went. I'd have to go back and rewatch it. But in that moment, in that instance, I was like, was Granny the one that did it? So, and I'm not saying don't tell me because I don't want no spoilers, but right now, the two people that I think had a hand in it was either Tywin or her at this point. Like that's the only, and I wouldn't even thought her before anything. Yeah, and that's like there's no, I don't I even went back because like I was so excited after I ended the episode. I went back and rewatched the whole death scene. It makes me sound bad. I know. I don't care. But like I didn't see anything like I know that's why I know Tyrion didn't do nothing. I didn't see him do anything that I could have noticed. I didn't see nobody reach for a cup. I didn't see nobody in the background putting things in cups or nothing or in the drink. So I don't know. All I know is the oh shit, my chair. All I know is the conversation that happened between Marge and Granny. That kind of made me think her. Before that, I was actually thinking it was kind of Tywin myself, only because it seemed like Joffrey was starting to get under his skin, and I think Tywin knows he can't control, or he couldn't control Joffrey like he wanted to. And then whenever I seen who in turn is becoming the king, and how still he's able to be dyed any color, like he's very, as you said earlier, he's manipulable. Like somebody can manipulate that kid, and I think Tywin is going to try to do that. Would also make sense why he's trying to get Tyrion in trouble for it. Cersei just wants fucking Tyrion to die every step of the way. So her, I don't even care. I don't want to spoil too much of what I watched because the episodes haven't come out yet. But now that I've seen some of it, I do like the fact that we get to have a conversation about it. The whole Shay thing fucking just blasted me. I've been saying from day one that relationship should have never happened. I stand by my word now. Like that was fucked up. But whatever. I think I kind of cover some of that on that episode as well. Go back and watch the reception again. Oh, and season 6 is your favorite. Okay, good. See, that was one of my other questions too. I was hoping that it doesn't like Peter from here because the consistency of this season 4 is everybody's favorite. So I was like, well, fuck. I hope season 5 or 6 or 7 doesn't like start like going downhill. Hopefully the other ones stay good. So that's good. I'm looking forward to seeing if season 5 and 6 can hold up to season 4. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it again. I will, because like I didn't see nothing. I tried looking again and I still didn't see nothing. But that's fun. That's fun. We got some exciting stuff to get into. We're gonna be doing a lot of episodes coming out soon. Like I said, I got some already recorded up, ready to go. So they should be coming out soon. I'm gonna probably start recording again on my next few days off, so that'll still give me time to do stuff. The only time that it might start slowing down, and I'm gonna let y'all know now, is the time whenever I do end up switching jobs. For those first week or two, it could be a little hectic for me with my schedule, just to try to adjust and get everything going. So if y'all happen to see like a week or two go by and nothing comes out, that's probably the reason. And if that is the reason, it's not going to be a long hiatus like it's been, or I have been. It'll be probably a couple of weeks, and then they'll start coming back out. Once I get a little rotation, I'll just try to I might need a break from the whole pricing of editing for maybe a couple of checks just to kind of get it back up, and then I can start back on it. So there'll probably be some little spots, but I'm going to try to do it to where it's like maybe at the end of one season, we take a little break. And then start on the next season. We'll think of something. But yeah, hopefully it won't though. I think the transition is going to be pretty smooth already. It's just going to be a lot of learning, so a lot of my mentality is going to be kind of focused on that. First of all, don't listen to everyone, just enjoy. Also look up photos of Diana Riggs when she was younger. Okay, I'll definitely do that. Oh yeah, and I enjoy doing this regardless. I'm my own worst critic when it comes to this stuff. And I think that's where it hurts me a lot. Like I want to get this stuff out, and like in my eyes, I should have had this almost done, if not completed already. But things happened months ago that really just put a halt on everything. So I'm finally starting to get things moving like I want to. So it's just a little bit that I'm trying to overcome. But yeah, I don't think it's gonna stop. I did kind of pause the movie thing for now, just so I can get this done. I want to get back into the movies, and I will. Departed was good. It didn't really hit off as good as I wanted it to. So I will maybe try something else and see. But as of right now, I'm gonna stick to Game of Thrones only because I do have a bunch of y'all that have stuck with me so far through this journey, and I want to finish it. This is by far one of my favorite TV series that I've seen. Supernatural was a real good one back in the day that I loved watching, and Charmed. But as far as like a TV series that I have watched, it's I love it. It's very nice. I plan on trying some maybe Breaking Bad or something like that after the fact. I do plan on starting House of the Dragon probably pretty soon. We're already in season 4 of Game of Thrones. So well, I might just wait till after. So it'd be like as soon as Game of Thrones is over, I'll probably go straight into House of Dragon. By then, season 2 will probably be out, knowing how slow I've been going. So we'll have some more of those episodes to go through. I cannot wait for that. And yeah, I got a few things. I got a few of them wrote down. So once I get like Netflix and all that, I can start working on those series. Yeah, you have to appeal to a younger crowd. Yeah, that's probably where my hindrance is going to be because I'm already trying not to cuss as much as I normally do. I tend to cuss like a sailor, so I have to bring that down a lot. And I try my best not to, and I still find myself doing it more so than I want to in some videos and stuff. But I'm trying to work on that as it goes. Articulate my responses better. But yeah, I do need to start like going towards that. Start trying to spread out more, see what I can get going. Yeah, that's all, here nor there though. We can definitely go talk about it more down the line. Um Once again, I appreciate all of y'all, Kimberly especially. I appreciate you stopping in, talking with me, chilling. It means a lot. I appreciate that. Hopefully you have a great night. I'd like to see you do Banshee after House of the Dragon. No one ever reacts to that. I actually seen that on HBO. I didn't watch it, but I seen like a series. I was going through it, just kind of scanning, seeing what if any of the series that my viewers had wrote down, because I got like a little booklet here that I got stuff wrote down. And while I was looking through it, I seen a show called Banshee, and I was like, that's something I never heard of or seen or even had anybody really talk about it. Because while scrolling YouTube, sometimes you see a lot of like, oh, so and so, reaction. It's like, oh, that might be popular, so you kind of write that down. But I've never seen Banshee or really heard about it, so that's actually a good thing. I was planning on doing that one as well. I didn't know exactly when, but yeah, I might be able to do that right after the House of Dragon, because I'm sure House of Dragon won't take too long to do if it's only going to be a season or two for right now until it comes out. So we could probably knock House of Dragon out after Game of Thrones and then go into Banshee. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and in the live stream, I'm gonna start getting ready because I'm probably gonna go stream on Twitch for a little bit. If y'all got Twitch, or y'all want to come pass by, y'all more than welcome to come see me on Twitch. My Twitch account is Wicked Low Plays. We can hang out there, talk about Game of Thrones some more, or just anything. Chill out. I got music that plays over there for vibes, things like that. That's hardly anyone watched. Well, that's good. That might actually help out. Nobody hardly watches it. Might be able to get a few people who actually like the show that want to see reactions of it. So that's definitely something I can look into. I will definitely look into that. Yeah, I once again, I can't say it enough. I appreciate all of y'all, and we will definitely have to do this live again. For sure on the next History and Lore episode. I think regardless, I think I'm going to do it because I did enjoy this. It was fun. Um, And yeah, so yeah, y'all have a great night too, Kimberly. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I know I will enjoy it regardless. And yeah, I will catch everybody on the next one. On that note, hopefully everybody has a great morning, a great evening, and a great night. And I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.